The unseen light of Yasodhara. Imagine a woman standing at the edge of a palace, her silhouette framed against a crimson dawn, her heart heavy with love, yet ablaze with a quiet, unshakable resolve. This is not just any woman, she is Yasodhara, the wife of the man who would become the Buddha, a figure whose story has been cloaked in shadow for over 2 millennia. Her name, whispered in ancient texts, carries a weight that could shift the way you see the path to awakening. What if I told you that Yasodhara, abandoned by her beloved Siddhartha, did not fade into despair, but carved a path to enlightenment so profound it challenged the very foundations of Buddhist history? What if her story holds the key to unlocking your own inner transformation? Stay with me, for this is a tale of courage, wisdom, and a woman's unyielding spirit that will pull you in and refuse to let you go. If this journey resonates with you, consider subscribing to join us in uncovering the hidden truths of the Dharma and sharing this story with others who seek wisdom's light. In the ancient city of Kapilavastu, Yasodhara was not merely the wife of a prince, but a soul of extraordinary depth, her life intertwined with Siddhartha's long before he became the awakened one. Born into nobility, she was raised in a world of opulence, yet her heart was drawn to questions far beyond the palace walls. Why does suffering cling to us like a shadow? How can love coexist with loss? These were not idle musings, but the seeds of a spiritual fire that would later define her legacy. When Siddhartha left in the dead of night, leaving behind his wife and newborn son, Rahula, the world assumed Yasodhara would crumble. But let us pause here. Can you imagine the weight of that moment? A woman, alone, her partner vanished into the unknown, her child's future uncertain. Yet, Yasodhara did not break. Instead, she turned inward, her pain becoming the raw material for a journey that would rival the Buddha's own. What makes Yasodhara's story so compelling is not just her resilience, but the way she transformed abandonment into a sacred opportunity. While Siddhartha sought truth beneath the Bodhi tree, Yasodhara embarked on a parallel quest within the confines of her world. She meditated in silence, her breath a steady rhythm against the chaos of her heart. She studied the teachings that trickled back from her husband's wanderings, piecing together a practice that was uniquely hers. Her home became a sanctuary, her sorrow a teacher. This is where the story takes a turn that history has long overlooked. Yasodhara did not wait for enlightenment to find her. She pursued it with a fierce determination that defied the norms of her time. And here's a question for you. What pain in your own life could become the spark for your awakening? As we dive deeper into her story, let's hold this thought close, for Yasodhara's path offers a mirror to our own. Now, let us step into the heart of a hidden truth. For 2,500 years, the annals of Buddhist history have largely silenced women like Yasodhara. The texts, penned by male scholars, exalted the Buddha's journey while relegating his wife to mere footnotes. But why? Why were the stories of women spiritual giants in their own right erased from the teachings? The answer lies in the tides of culture and power. In the centuries following the Buddha's death, patriarchal structures tightened their grip, reshaping the Dharma to fit a narrative that sidelined female voices. Yet, Yasodhara's story could not be fully erased. Fragments of her life, preserved in lesser-known sutras and oral traditions, reveal a woman who not only achieved enlightenment, but also laid the foundation for the first community of Buddhist nuns. This is not just history, it's a revolution. And as we uncover this truth together, I invite you to share this video with someone who needs to hear it, to help spread the light of Yasodhara's legacy. Picture this: a gathering of women, their heads shaved, their robes simple, their eyes alight with purpose. Yasodhara, now a bhikkhuni, stands among them, her presence a beacon. She was not content to merely follow the path her husband had forged. She sought to expand it, to ensure that women, too, could walk the road to liberation. This was no small feat in a society that bound women to domestic roles. Yasodhara's decision to renounce her royal life and lead the First Order of Nuns was a radical act, one that shattered gender barriers and redefined spiritual leadership. She taught meditation not as an escape, but as a way to face suffering head-on, to transform it into wisdom. Her methods, rooted in compassion and mindfulness, were practical yet profound, offering a blueprint for anyone seeking peace in a turbulent world. Can you feel the power of this moment? A woman, once abandoned, now a teacher, guiding others toward freedom. This is the kind of story that demands to be told, and if it moves you, consider leaving a super thanks to support more explorations like this one. But Yasodhara's journey was not without its trials. The early Buddhist community, though founded on equality, was not immune to the biases of its time. Some monks questioned the place of women in the Sangha, their doubts casting shadows over Yasodhara's work. Yet she persisted, her teachings grounded in the same four noble truths that her husband proclaimed. Suffering exists. It has a cause, it can end, and there is a path to its end. Her approach, however, was uniquely her own. She emphasized the heart's role in awakening, teaching that love, whether for a child, a partner, or oneself, could be a gateway to liberation. This was her gift to the Dharma, a vision of enlightenment that embraced the full spectrum of human experience. As we linger on this thought, ask yourself, how can your own heart, with all its joys and wounds, become a vessel for wisdom? Yasodhara's story urges us to look within, to see our struggles not as burdens, but as invitations to grow. Let us weave these threads together. Yasodhara's enlightenment was not a solitary triumph, but a communal one, a spark that ignited the path for countless women. Her leadership in founding the Bhikkhuni order was a quiet rebellion against a world that sought to limit her. She showed that the Dharma is not reserved for one gender, one class, or one story. It belongs to all who seek it. And yet, her legacy was buried, her voice muted by centuries of selective storytelling. Why does this matter today? Because Yasodhara's courage speaks directly to us, to anyone who has felt overlooked, abandoned, or silenced. Her meditation practices, her emphasis on compassion, her refusal to be defined by loss, these are tools we can wield in our own lives. They teach us to sit with our pain, to breathe through it, to let it guide us toward something greater. And so, I ask you, what would it mean to embrace your own story with the same fearless grace? To take the next step, perhaps by subscribing to this channel, to join a community dedicated to uncovering the Dharma's hidden gems? As we close this first chapter of Yasodhara's tale, let us hold her image in our minds. A woman who turned abandonment into awakening, who built a legacy not of resentment, but of liberation. Her story is not just a relic of the past, it is a call to action, a reminder that the path to enlightenment is open to all, no matter the obstacles. In the next, we will explore how Yasodhara's teachings rippled through the ages, shaping the lives of women and men alike, and how her wisdom can transform your suffering today. Stay with us, for the journey is far from over. Let her light guide you, as it has guided so many before. And if this story has touched your heart, share it, subscribe, and let's keep this flame alive together. The unseen light of Yasodhara continues. What if the secret to transforming your deepest pain lies not in running from it, but in holding it close, as Yasodhara did? Envision her now, no longer the princess bound by palace walls, but a bhikkhuni. Her saffron robes flowing like a river of wisdom, her gaze steady with a clarity that cuts through the fog of suffering. Her journey, which we began to explore earlier, is not just a story of personal victory. It is a guiding star for anyone who has ever felt weighed down by life's trials. Yasodhara's tale pulls you in deeper, doesn't it? It whispers that within your own struggles lies a path to liberation, one she walked with fearless grace. Stay with me as we delve further into her teachings, her revolutionary role in shaping the Buddhist Sangha, and the practices she offered the world, practices that can reshape your life today. If her story sparks something within you, share this video with someone who needs its light. And let's keep this journey alive together. As Yasodhara stepped fully into her role as a spiritual guide, she faced a world unprepared for her strength. The early Buddhist community, though built on the Buddha's vision of equality, was steeped in the norms of ancient India, where women's voices were often pushed to the edges. Yet Yasodhara refused to be silenced. She gathered women from all corners of life, mothers, widows, those cast aside by society, and formed the first community of Buddhist nuns, the Bhikkhuni Sangha. This was no small act of inclusion. It was a bold reimagining of what it meant to seek awakening. Can you feel the courage of that moment? A woman, once abandoned, now leading others toward freedom, her presence a quiet but unyielding defiance of the norms of her time. Her teachings were not distant theories, but truths born from her own heart's trials. And here's where her story weaves itself into our own. Yasodhara's wisdom was not just for the women of her era. It speaks to us, offering tools to navigate the storms of our modern lives. What made Yasodhara's teachings unique was her gift for threading the heart's emotions into the tapestry of the Dharma. While the Buddha's Four Noble Truths offered a universal map, Yasodhara brought them to life with a deeply human touch. She knew suffering, whether from loss, betrayal, or unfulfilled longing, was not something to push away, but to cradle gently, like a delicate lotus in your hand. Her meditation practices centered on metta, or loving kindness, as the cornerstone of awakening. She taught her nuns to begin each meditation by offering compassion to themselves, then to their loved ones, and even to those who had caused them pain. This was revolutionary in its simplicity. Picture yourself in meditation, your heart heavy with sorrow, and instead of rejecting it, you offer it kindness. Can you sense the shift? This practice, born from Yasodhara's own journey through abandonment, is one we can all embrace. It invites us to ask, what would it mean to meet your own pain with love? Yasodhara's teachings stretched beyond personal healing. She saw the interconnectedness of all beings, making it the foundation of her leadership. Her nuns were not solitary seekers, but a community woven together by shared purpose. They meditated as one, shared their stories, and held each other through the challenges of spiritual life. Yasodhara's vision of the Sangha was a living testament to the Buddha's teaching that liberation flourishes in connection. This is where her story becomes a mirror for our time. In a world that can feel fractured, where isolation often weighs heavy, Yasodhara's focus on community offers a powerful remedy. She reminds us that our paths to awakening are linked, that our healing is tied to the healing of others. So, I ask you, who in your life could you invite into this journey? Perhaps you can share this video with them, spreading the seeds of Yasodhara's wisdom and building a community of seekers together. The path, however, was not without its obstacles. Some in the early Buddhist community questioned the place of the Bhikkhuni order, their doubts rooted in the prejudices of a patriarchal age. Yasodhara met these challenges with a quiet strength, her authority grounded not in argument, but in the undeniable truth of her practice. She taught her nuns to cultivate equanimity, to see criticism as another fleeting wave, like clouds drifting across the sky. This was her brilliance. She turned barriers into gateways for growth, both for herself and those she guided. Her meditations often centered on impermanence, urging her followers to observe the transient nature of thoughts, emotions, and even societal norms. This practice, so simple yet profound, is one we can use today. The next time you feel overwhelmed by work, relationships, or the weight of the world, try sitting still. Notice how your thoughts rise and fade, how nothing lasts forever. This is Yasodhara's gift, a way to find peace amid change. As her influence spread, Yasodhara's teachings reached beyond the Sangha's walls. Women from far-off villages sought her, drawn by tales of a teacher who understood their struggles. She spoke to them not as a distant sage, but as one who had walked through the fire of loss and emerged whole. Her words carried the weight of experience, making the Dharma accessible to those long excluded from its heart. This is where her story gains new urgency for us. In a world where suffering is universal, whether from personal grief or global crises, Yasodhara's approach offers a lifeline. Her focus on compassion, community, and mindfulness is not just ancient wisdom. It is a practical guide for navigating today's complexities. And if her teachings resonate with you, consider leaving a super thanks to help us continue sharing these transformative stories. Let us hold Yasodhara's life in our hearts. Her creation of the Bhikkhuni order was not just a historical milestone. It was a declaration that the path to enlightenment is open to all, regardless of gender or place. Her practices, rooted in love and presence, are tools we can use to transform our own suffering. But her story is not yet finished. In the next chapter, we will explore how Yasodhara's legacy endured despite centuries of erasure, how her wisdom continues to shape the Dharma, and how you can apply her teachings to find peace in your own life. Her light still burns, calling us to awaken, to connect, to act. Stay with us, for the final chapter of this journey promises to deepen your understanding and inspire your heart. If this story has touched you, subscribe to join our community of seekers, and let's carry Yasodhara's flame forward together. The enduring flame of Yasodhara. What if the path to your own awakening is already within you, waiting to be ignited by the same courage Yasodhara showed? See her now, a bhikkhuni whose presence radiates like a steady flame in a world of shifting shadows. Her teachings a bridge between the ancient and the eternal. Her journey, which we've followed through her transformation from a princess to a spiritual pioneer, is not just a story of the past, it's a living call to reimagine your own life. Yasodhara's legacy, though buried for centuries, pulses with a truth that refuses to be silenced. It holds you, doesn't it? It beckons you to see your struggles as stepping stones to wisdom, just as she did. Stay with me as we uncover how her teachings endured, how they reshaped the Dharma, and how they can guide you to transform your suffering today. If her light moves you, subscribe to join our journey of uncovering hidden truths and share this video to spread her wisdom further. Yasodhara's creation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha was a spark that lit a fire across generations. Yet history tried to dim that flame. For over 2,500 years, the stories of women like her were sidelined, their voices muted by scholars who shaped the Buddhist canon to reflect the biases of their time. But Yasodhara's influence could not be fully erased. Traces of her teachings lingered in the oral traditions of nuns, in the songs of village women, and in the quiet practices of those who followed her path. These fragments, preserved like embers in ash, reveal a woman who not only achieved enlightenment, but also redefined what it meant to live the Dharma. Her story challenges us to ask, why were these voices hidden, and what do we lose when half the story of awakening is left untold? The answer is not just historical, it's personal. Yasodhara's life urges us to reclaim the untold stories within ourselves, to honor the struggles that shape who we are. Her teachings, rooted in compassion and mindfulness, were not meant for monks or nuns alone, but for anyone seeking freedom from suffering. Yasodhara emphasized the practice of mindfulness in daily life, teaching that every moment, whether washing dishes, caring for a child, or sitting in meditation, could be a doorway to awakening. She encouraged her followers to observe their thoughts and emotions without clinging, to see them as waves on the surface of a vast ocean. This practice, so accessible yet profound, is one we can embrace today. Imagine pausing in the middle of a hectic day, taking a single breath and noticing the world around you, the sound of a bird, the weight of your feet on the ground. This is Yasodhara's invitation, to find the sacred in the ordinary, to turn every moment into a step toward liberation. Can you feel the power of that simplicity? It's a practice that meets you exactly where you are. Yet Yasodhara's legacy was not just in her teachings, but in the community she built. The Bhikkhuni Sangha became a sanctuary for women who sought more than the roles society offered them. These women, under Yasodhara's guidance, became teachers in their own right, carrying her wisdom to villages and towns. They challenged the idea that spiritual authority belonged only to men, proving that enlightenment knows no gender. This was her revolution, a quiet, persistent reshaping of the Dharma to include all who sought it. And here's where her story speaks directly to us. In a world that often divides us by labels, Yasodhara's vision of a shared path to awakening is a radical call to unity. Her life asks us to consider who in our own communities is being overlooked, and how can we amplify their voices. If this question resonates, consider leaving a super thanks to support more stories that challenge and inspire. Despite her impact, Yasodhara's name faded from many texts, her contributions overshadowed by the Buddha's towering legacy. But erasure could not extinguish her light. In the centuries that followed, the Bhikkhuni order she helped establish spread across Asia, from Sri Lanka to China, carrying her emphasis on compassion and community. Even when patriarchal forces suppressed the order in some regions, her spirit lived on in the practices of laywomen who meditated, chanted, and kept the Dharma alive in their homes. Today, as the Bhikkhuni lineage is being revived in many parts of the world, Yasodhara's story is resurfacing, a reminder that truth cannot be buried forever. Her life is a testament to resilience, a proof that even the most silenced voices can echo through time. And this is where her story becomes a mirror for us. What truths within you are waiting to be spoken, to be lived? Now, let us bring Yasodhara's wisdom into our own lives. Her teachings offer practical tools for transforming suffering, tools that are as relevant now as they were 2,500 years ago. Begin with metta. Each day, take a moment to wish yourself well, to extend that wish to others, even those who challenge you. This simple act can soften the edges of pain, opening your heart to peace. Then practice mindfulness. Notice the world around you, the rise and fall of your breath, the fleeting nature of your thoughts. These are not just practices, they are acts of courage, ways to meet life's challenges with the same grace Yasodhara embodied. And finally, seek community. Connect with others who share your journey, who can hold space for your growth. Yasodhara's life shows us that liberation is not a solitary path, but one we walk together. So I ask you, what step can you take today to embody her wisdom? Perhaps it's sharing this story, subscribing to join our community, or simply sitting in silence for a moment to honor your own heart. As we close this chapter of Yasodhara's tale, let her light linger in your mind. She was a woman who turned abandonment into awakening, who built a legacy of compassion that endures despite centuries of silence. Her story is a call to action, to embrace your own suffering, to seek wisdom in the everyday, to build communities that uplift all voices. Her teachings are not relics but living tools, ready to guide you through the complexities of your life. Let Yasodhara's courage inspire you to take the next step, whatever it may be. And if her story has touched you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to stay with us, and let's carry her flame forward together. The Dharma is not just a path, it's a promise, one Yasodhara kept, and one we can keep too.